The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Book 1. And now, Yoga. Yoga is the restraint of the modifications of the mind stuff. Then the seer abides in his own nature. At other times, the self appears to assume the forms of the mental modifications. There are 5 kinds of mental modifications, which are either painful or painless. They are right knowledge, misconception, verbal delusion, sleep, and memory. The sources of right knowledge are direct perception, inference, and scriptural testimony. Misconception occurs when knowledge of something is not based upon its true form. Verbal delusion is an image that arises on hearing mere words without reality as its basis. That mental modification supported by cognition of nothingness is sleep. When a mental modification of an object previously experienced and not forgotten comes back to consciousness, that is memory. These mental modifications are restrained by practice and non-attachment. Of these two, practice is effort towards steadiness of mind. Practice becomes firmly grounded when well attended to for a long time, without break, and in all earnestness. Non-attachment is the consciousness of self-mastery in one who is free from craving for objects seen or heard about. Supreme non-attachment is when there is non-thirst for even the gunas, constituents of nature, due to the realization of the true self, Purusha. Samprajñāta Samadhi is accomplished by reasoning, reflecting, rejoicing, and pure I-amness. By the firmly convinced practice of complete cessation of the mental modifications, the impressions only remain. This is the other Samadhi, Asamprajñāta Samadhi. Those who merely leave their physical bodies and attain to the state of celestial deities, or those who get merged in nature, have rebirth. For the others, this asamprajñāta samadhi can come through faith, vigor, memory, contemplation, and or discernment. To the keen and intent practitioner, this samadhi comes very quickly. The time necessary for success further depends on whether the practice is mild, medium, or intense. Or samadhi is attained by devotion with total dedication to God, Isivara. Isivara is the Supreme Self, Purusha, unaffected by any affliction, actions, fruits of actions, or by any inner impressions or desires. In Isvara is the complete manifestation of the seed of omniscience. Unconditioned by time, Isvara is the teacher of even the most ancient teachers. The word expressive of Isvara is the mystic sound Om. Om is God's name as well as form. To repeat it with reflection upon its meaning is an aid. From this practice, all the obstacles disappear and simultaneously dawns knowledge of the inner self. Disease, dullness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, sensuality, false perception, failure to reach firm ground, slipping from the ground gained. These distractions of the mind stuff are the obstacles. Accompaniments to the mental distractions include distress, despair, trembling of the body, and disturbed breathing. The practice of concentration on a single subject is the best way to prevent the obstacles and their accompaniments. By cultivating attitudes of friendliness towards the happy, compassion for the unhappy, delight in the virtuous, and disregard towards the wicked, the mind stuff retains this undisturbed calmness. Or that calm is retained by the controlled exhalation or retention of the breath. Or the concentration on subtle sense perceptions can cause steadiness of mind. Or by concentrating on the supreme, ever blissful light within. Or by concentrating on a great soul's mind, which is totally freed from attachment to sense objects. Or by concentrating on an experience had during dream or deep sleep. Or by meditating on anything one chooses that is elevating. Gradually, one's mastery and concentration extends from the primal atom to the greatest magnitude. Just as the naturally pure crystal assumes shapes and colors of objects placed near it, so the yogi's mind, with its totally weakened modifications, becomes clear and balanced and attains the state devoid of differentiation between knower, knowable, and knowledge. This culmination of meditation is samadhi. The samadhi in which name, form, and knowledge of them is mixed is called savitarka samadhi, or samadhi with deliberation. When the memory is well purified, the knowledge of the object of concentration shines alone, devoid of the distinction of name and quality. This is nirvitarka samadhi, or samadhi without deliberation. In the same way, both savichara, reflective, and nirvichara, super non-reflective samadhi, which are practiced upon subtle objects, are explained. The subtlety of possible objects of concentration ends only at the undefinable. Each of the above kinds of samadhi are sabja, with seed, which could bring one back into bondage or mental disturbance. In the purity of nirvichara samadhi, the Supreme Self shines. This is Ritambara Prajna, or the absolute true consciousness. This special truth is totally different from knowledge, gained by hearing, study of scripture, or inference. The impression produced by this samadhi wipes out all other impressions. When even this impression is totally wiped out, there is nirbija, seedless samadhi. End of Book 1, Samadhipada, portion on contemplation. Next installation, Book 2, Sadhanapada, portion on practice.